All right, welcome in. Good morning to you. The McManus Webcast here at SuckItUPusa.com, live from the Loft in Jacksonville Beach. Great to be here and great to be alive. We are with Dr. Stan Longenecker from JOI, Jacksonville's Orthopedic Institute, the leader in orthopedics. They've been the team. Physician team, doctors, sports medicine partners with your Jacksonville Jaguars since day one. They continue that. I know them personally. You've been listening to them throughout the week since I've had them on for the past couple years, and now it's Dr. Stan's turn to get in the chair and talk a little medicine and, I don't know, maybe shooting or something else. Doc, how you doing?
Man, whatever floats your boat.
You're very widely diversified, no doubt about that. And I know I got to take you up on the going out on the range and shooting a little bit. I'm going to take you up on that before the year's up.
I had a nice shoot yesterday for St. Vincent's. Raised a whole bunch of money.
Nice.
My team just happened to win.
Did they? Yeah. That's where you practice? Is that the St. Augustine?
I shoot there and I shoot up at Jacksonville.
Okay. Beautiful.
I'm bored up at Jacksonville, so I kind of spend more time up there.
You spend more time up there. Yeah, we'll have to. Wednesday night's a big shoot, right?
It's a good day.
Yeah, all right. We're going to have to work on that.
Up,
Can we videotape us shooting?
Absolutely.
Yeah?
Come shoot around.
Yeah.
Maybe two, then sit down, have a little glass of something brown.
Okay, yeah. Hey, listen. It'll be like that reality show. I got to drink whatever you give me. I mean, I can't, I'm your guest.
Let me know when you come. I'll have fun.
Yeah, there you go. Exactly right. All right, I want to get into, obviously, some injuries this week that people can take, whether they're an athlete, whether they have a young athlete in their family, or whether they're just day-to-day people, struggling with different things. I want to start with arthritis. Honestly, I don't even know exactly what it is. All I know is that it hurts. I know there's inflammation. I know as we get older, it gets worse. If you've had an injury, you probably have, in the past, you probably have that creeping in. Give us a lowdown on arthritis and why it affects us, so greatly.
Well, the down and dirty on arthritis is it means inflamed joint. Arthro is joint.
Okay.
Is inflammation. So that's the baseline term. Excuse me. Once you say that, then you have many different types. You have what you're talking about, which is the osteoarthritis, comes from injury or genetic profile.
Okay.
Some people, you'll see lines of arthritis come down through family. Dad had it. I got it. My granddad had it. That type of arthritis. Then you have rheumatoid arthritis,
right.
which is one of the inflammatory types, which is the joint lining just becomes overgrown, literally grows over the end of the bone and closes off the supply of nutrition to the joint and deteriorates.
Oh.
Whether you realize or not, that cartilage, that white gristle that caps into the bone that pops off when you boil a chicken leg.
Right.
Yeah. That stuff is what keeps the two bones from rubbing, and whatever deteriorates that surface is what leads to bone rubbing on bone, which is what gets knee stiffness.
Ah, jeez. Yeah. And rheumatoid arthritis, that can affect anybody, right?
That sure can.
Absolutely.
There are a whole a whole world of different types of arthritis that impinge. I classify those as chemical arthritis.
Okay.
They're caused by some unknown chemical phenomenon. We simply don't know what those are yet.
Okay.
In time, I suspect that the genetics of it will be sorted out and we'll develop splices that actually splice and stop it.
Okay, and stop it. Yeah.
I think that's where medicine's headed, but it's probably 45, 50 years away. Maybe sooner.
Yeah, gosh, that would be great. No doubt about that. Listen, I have whatever I have, the osteo from my ACL and just from the knee and wear and tear and whatnot. And, I think an MRI showed that it did have arthritis in there. Dr. Steve looked at it probably a couple years ago. One of your guys, your partners over there at JOI.
Sure.
Would you if you went back in to clean it up? Is there a way to clean out arthritis? Like, can you get rid of it?
No, I would give you a different way of thinking about it. Let's suppose you look at the wound surface and it's craggy. Mm-hmm. Now let's transpose that to the end of the thigh bone. So you have this roughened surface that's making contact with another surface. If I'm going in with an arthroscope to treat arthritis, which I do from time to time,
okay.
I'm going to try and take off the high spots so that when the rough surface goes over the rough surface, it's not quite so rough.
Okay.
Another way of thinking about it is if you have a pothole in the street, which you can have in a arthritic joint, where a section of the car literally pops away and you've got this hole. Well, as the other surface comes across it, it's a like you did it with your car. And the patients actually feel that in their knee. What I do is, in that situation, I'll go in. I could fix the cartilage. Let's suppose they were young. Put a new patch of cartilage in. But if you're over 45, insurances are not going to pay for that. So what you do in that patient is you round the hole off. You use a very, we use the word succinct, but what I really want to say is it's very finite in what it does. I can go around and just round the edges off so that when the rough spot hits, it doesn't go, it goes,
Oh, right.
I don't know how else to describe it.
No, I know exactly what you're saying. Instead of flying over a speed bump, you go over nice and slow, and it's
the fact that you hit it and it doesn't jar your suspension when you hit it. And that's the same thing when that's the concept I use when I'm trying to explain it to a patient why I'm doing what I'm doing. And that, or for instance, the cartilage surface is maybe peeled up, so you have this flap of cartilage that's flapping around in there, and that keeps tugging it away and tearing the surface open more. So you take off that flap and round off the edge, so it's these round edges that pull it up.
Wow, that's great.
And that can buy 5-10 years. So that's what I would classify as the quote clean out operation.
All right, Dr. Stan, answer me. Why does my knee kill me when it's raining or cold or achy when in those types of elements? Is it the barometric pressure? What is it? Is there a connection there? You always hear, well, it's barometric pressure drop, so you're in pain a little bit more. Since we're talking arthritis,
predicting rain because they feel the temperature, they feel the pressure drop. Well, let's turn that around into something that everybody understands.
Okay.
It's called the bends. It happens when divers come up too fast. They're coming up from a higher pressure down below, pressure below, to a lower pressure system as they come up to. If you take your time and the body gets a chance to equilibrate, then the nitrogen bubbles don't leak out and cause pain. Okay. So if you come up quick, you get the bends, and then they have to put you in a high pressure chamber and gradually bring you back up. Well, in the knee, the knee that's been injured is very sensitive, and it will get the bends a lot quicker than on divers. So divers report that their arthritic joint gets the bends much before, and it actually warns them to slow down in their ascent to the surface. Same principle here. You get a rapid pressure drop. Nitrogen bubbles expand, cause pain in the joints that are injured more quickly than they would give you the bends over your whole body.
Yeah. Wow.
The Lord meant to have the bends over the whole body.
Yeah, no, right.
maybe if you have too much to drink tonight.
Yeah, right. Since you brought that up, is that sodium? Why sometimes you wake up after a night of having some beers or whatever. It seems like your hand, at least my hands, like I can't get my ring off. Not that I try to take it off, just to get some movement in there. What's that all about?
Sodium. What it really is a salt load is increase your body. Your kidneys haven't had a chance to work it out of your system.
Right.
But when it gets into your bloodstream has more sodium in it than it's supposed to have, and so it percolates into the soft tissues and it drags water behind it.
Yeah.
So you have stiff, soft hands until your body finally gets all that sodium, pulls it back out into the bloodstream, and secretes it into the kidney, which allows flow of water to go back the other way.
Did you sleep at a Holiday Inn Express last night? Jeez, you know a lot of information.
Well, did you ever do the old carrot thing in your biology class where you put a concentrated solution outside the carrot with any kind of food coloring in it? Okay. And what happens is the concentration of sugar is greater outside the carrot, so that flows. The sugar goes across, dragging the dye that you put in there. Okay. The carrot changes colors. It's the same principle. Wow. You learn about, at least like when I was in school, we learned about that in biology class.
Yeah. I can't remember biology. It knocked 3 hits to the head. I don't know, but no, that's fascinating. Fascinating stuff. Interesting news out there. And speaking of injuries, and the National Football League. And before I get to that, I wasn't insinuating that every night of drinking I wake up with fat hands. However, I did tried moonshine last Saturday. I never really tried moonshine. It was flavored.
Which one?
And one was peach and one was banana, I think. And it tasted great, and I didn't drink a lot of it, but I don't know, man, that could really, I had enough to where I was like, man, I don't know if I really like that. That's a little bit too much. Then I woke up and I'm like, man, my fingers are fat and killing me. It must have been from the sodium in the
I'm not
moonshine.
sure what that was in that situation.
Okay.
I think the body was just kind of messed up.
Yeah, shine does it?
I tell a funny story. I
Jeez,
get
that stuff's powerful.
I get supplies of shine, and you have to kind of just play with it a little bit. So my son came over with his kids, a whole bunch of boys that had never seen shine. There's this bottle of shine sitting out there with peach shine. So they got to go, and my son said, slow down,
yeah.
be careful.
Oh,
well, they were going out to dinner. By the time we get up to dinner, guys were puking out the windows.
Oh, man.
And when I walked into the restaurant, puked on them.
Oh, Josh.
They finished the whole dinner.
Oh, my God.
Guys finished the mason jar of shine.
And it does taste good enough to be like, I don't know.
You know,
the next thing you know, it's like a big sledgehammer whacks you in the head.
Exactly.
And then it's all over from there. Dr. Stan Longenecker here with us on the Tom McManus Webcast, live from the loft in Jacksonville Beach. He's with JOI, of course. While you're on the site, please visit the sponsor page. Click on JOI, take you right into their website. You can see the profile of Dr. Stan and all that he has done throughout his years, his expertise, etc. And you can also set an appointment right then and there. All right, interesting news in the National Football League. A couple of tidbits here. Ray Lewis trying to make a comeback from a torn tricep tendon, using PRP to help him get through it. And that's not totally, that's not universally accepted yet, is it? The platelet-rich plasma therapy, Doc? Is that?
Well, I think that it got its foundation in the NFL because people were looking for a way to get back quicker. And there's that story of an NFL quarterback. They had PRP in his MCL right before the Super Bowl game, and he managed to play the Super Bowl game, and that lit the fire.
That was it, right?
And so you're seeing PRP get used everywhere, and whether or not it really does provide any enhancement is really not being studied.
Okay.
Theoretically, or I'm going to use the word teleology, where you think something through, it makes sense because what are you doing? You're taking a concentration of platelets. What do platelets do? Well, if you injure yourself and it's bleeding, platelets are the very first thing that gets in there and seals off the bleeding. They then die, and what they give off is this stimulus to the body to bring in all the other healing parts to that area to help finish the healing process.
Okay.
So the concept is if you put a bunch of platelets that more so than the body would ever put into that area, when they die, they're going to give off a massive healing response, suggestion to the body, which brings in healing. And in fact, those patients express the fact that it becomes very sore and swollen, which is what happens when you have a whole bunch of cells going in to do repair work.
Right.
It causes heat in the area, and it causes it to be sore. So that's kind of the concept that's happening with it.
Okay.
I've played around with it with one particular type of situation. We talked earlier about the pothole in the street.
Right.
Well, I saw a really nice article a couple of years back, and what they had not published, it was unpublished paper shown at a meeting that I went to. And what they had shown is in shape, they could create a particular defect, say a half-inch in diameter in the knee, and then close that up, and then inject platelet-rich plasma every week for 6 weeks. And what they showed is they could actually get regular cartilage to heal into that defect, not completely close it, but take it from say a half-inch defect down to a 16th or an 8-inch defect, which is a pretty big deal.
Yeah.
Now, I've never seen the follow-on to that study published, so I don't know if it actually went on to get bleeding. But in the control study, all they got was the typical fibrocartilage that we see, which is not a stable filling for the hole.
Okay.
So there was some real positive stuff there. As far as healing tendon injuries and muscle injuries, boy, nobody's got it.
Nobody knows.
Nobody knows.
Right.
Because I don't think you're ever going to see a study where you take people and rip their muscle. Okay, you get some and you don't.
Yeah.
Who's going to want to be in that study?
No, right. Tear this and then inject that for $5,000. I'll do it right now.
Well, it's going to be it's going to be what we call testimonial.
Okay. Yeah.
Testimonial. That's the old snake oil guy selling on the back of a telescope.
No, right.
Curious this, curious that.
Right.
Who knows?
Yeah, exactly. Well, listen, And maybe a lot of it's mental too. Ray Lewis. Maybe it helps him get back. That would be incredible with a
one tough sucker.
middle backer. You got to push off a lot. I don't know if that thing's still messed up. That's gonna, man. He's tough. That's a lot of pain to play through.
I mean, that's at the elbow where he's talking about. So,
Yeah.
Typically, what you do there is detach it and reattach it. The
Right.
season would be over.
Right.
I don't know what his season's worth to him financially. At this point, I think it's.
I think it's more that doesn't have many years left, and they're a good team, and they got a chance at a run at the championship. I think it's more about that than anything else. I think he's the greatest ever played that position. He's been absolutely incredible. All right, Cedric Benson was with the Pack for about a month. I thought it was a great pickup. I like the way he runs. Liz Frank injury. They put him on that new, the new IR where you take him off after like 8 weeks that the NFL has in place now. But they took him off that, and he decided to, or they decided to finally have surgery, which will end the season. It seems so complicated to fix that injury, depending on what level, degree that it's hurt, and B, why would you wait so long? It's been at least a month, maybe a month and a half, Doc, to where you finally say, all right, you know what, let's just do surgery and be done with it. How does that come about?
Most running backs are paid for performance.
Yeah.
So that he has a contract, he knows he has X number of years that he's going to be able to make money.
Yep.
So if they tell him, look, this is a Liz Frank sprain, which means the whole midfoot fell apart. Okay, pulled apart. And you think about the pressure that a running back puts on his foot as he pushes off, and let's suppose the ligament structure just isn't there, then everything collapses. He's dead. He can't push off on that side.
Right.
Unless it takes his speed from what is in the fours up into the sixes. So now he has no acceleration. He's basically not a running back anymore. He's not even a lineman.
Right.
Right.
And
he
today's
can't block.
game.
He can't block. He can't do anything because he can't push with that side. So the guy wants to play. He says, let's see what the doc says. Well, we can see how you do. And so they set a timeline where if he's not doing this much better at that point, they call it quits. Go ahead and put some screws across the joints. Hold everything in place while the ligaments get a chance to heal. There's no guarantee that he's going to be back next year.
Right.
It's just the best chance he has of having that happen.
Yeah.
And then, of course, somewhere once the ligaments are healed, they will pull all the screws back out so it doesn't flex against the screws and break them off. That can happen at that level. But he took a shot at being able to play this year, catch all the bonuses he would have had.
Right.
If he played.
Yeah,
and it didn't pan off. So from a financial standpoint, that's probably the best way for him to go.
Very tough to come back from that if you're a running back. I mean, with the cutting on a dime, and being natural with it. Well, we wish him the best, no doubt about that. That must be is that a long surgery?
No, it's not that bad.
It's not that bad.
No. You don't really do a lot. At least in the ones I've been around, you don't do a lot of opening. You just get things lined up and screw across them.
Yeah. From 160 yards out, Doc, huh?
No.
One shot? Is that what we're talking about? Right?
Yeah.
You're the man. You're the man. All right, let's finally, Blaine Gabbert decides, I took another shot. You're always susceptible when you have an injury. Got hit again. He is now having season-ending surgery. Looks like the labrum's torn enough to where you got it. I know you don't know the exact case, but the labrum must have been torn enough to where he said, you know what, let's just get this fixed, tie it back up, make it strong again, rehab, and have a chance next year.
Now let's put that in perspective. What is the labrum? Well, labrum means lip. Okay, but the labrum is actually where the ligaments course in onto let's say a saucer.
Okay.
Now, let me start over. The shoulder joint, think of it as a ball, basketball sitting on a saucer.
Okay.
Not terribly stable.
Right.
Muscles hold it in check, like this cuff of muscles, we call it the rotator cuff, holds that ball against the saucer. But there are check ligaments, so as it rotates too far, those ligaments come stop the rotation. So if I take my arm back, it only goes so far.
Right.
Now, if those check ligaments pop free, there's two ways they can tear. They can tear in their substance, which we can't really do much to fix. Actually, you can, but that's one thing. But if they pull free, which is the most common source of injury, it causes a labral tear. The labrum is pulled away.
Okay.
Well, every time that guy goes to cock his shoulder or His arm goes back this way. Whatever he's doing, he's running against the check ring, but it's not there, so the shoulder subluxes. And a subluxing shoulder can actually make the whole arm go numb.
Yeah.
And do that. My right arm did that all the way through my football career. Remember the old days where you throw your wing out?
Yeah, forearm shiver, baby.
Yeah, right.
Love them.
Well,
I could give some to some people today, Doc, and feel very happy about it.
well,
Get that forearm
get your hand
going.
across and get that arm out like this. We weren't allowed to touch with hands when I was blocking, but so I had a bad neck and a bad shoulder on that, on that side.
Yeah.
Anyway, long story short, that caused numbness to run down your arm. Your arm would go numb, and you'd think you'd have it was going out. Some people thought it was a stinger, but in my case, it was the shoulder subluxation.
Oh, okay.
Get to the doctor, nothing's wrong. You're a crazy kid. Go back to bed. You know, that's the way it was.
Take a couple salt tablets and get back out there.
Now we're really sensitive to the things that take an athlete off his performance level.
Right.
And with arthroscopic surgery, I can be in there in 20 minutes, put all that back together, and the guy wakes up 2 days later doesn't realize anything happened.
Wow.
And the biggest problem you have is slowing them down while the ligaments get a chance to heal.
Yeah.
And that's quite a challenge.
Yeah, yeah. Well, you know, you as an athlete, a professional athlete, you got to decide as well. You know, say, all right, let's do it. I'll hang it up for the year and I'll rehab and come back. It's for my best.
Might have influenced that somewhat.
Yeah, yeah. Well, you know, maybe so. But if there is a tear, you know, I get it fixed too if I'm not going to be the guy.
Well, it's interesting how we've evolved over the years. When I was training with Jack Houston as a fellow in sports medicine, he put all those people to rest for 3 to 6 weeks, and then he started rehab on them. He said, well, it'll give the ligaments a chance to heal. Well, another guy named Jay Cox was at the Naval Academy. It's about that same time. Long story short, I was actually talking with Jay whether to go up there and take that position, which I ultimately decided not to do. But Jay was putting the literature out saying, hey, look, if I let these guys rest for 3 to 6 weeks like I learned from Jack Houston, half of them are redislocating, and then they're losing more time. So he started operating on them right away. Well, back then it was an incision like that, go in, tack the ligaments back down, 3-hour operation, and you know, most people couldn't talk patients into that. He was dealing with a captured audience that he needed to have in full performance, kind of a model like the NFL.
Yeah.
So he started fixing them, and his results were so much better. Some of them started listening, and when arthroscopic surgery got to the point where it was so easy to make 2 little stab holes, you went and fix the thing and it's over with. It became a lot easier to tell somebody with first-time dislocation or subluxation, look, we can go fix that.
Right.
Then you won't have, it's a no-brainer. 6 weeks later, you're back up and ready to go.
Wow.
Yeah. No
wow, that's incredible. Wow.
Spring game a couple of years back, I can't mention the player, but it was a kid that was a high-level draftee, well, not draftee, but a high-level recruit. Was going to Florida State, and he dislocates his shoulder. I went in 2 days later, put it back together. 6 weeks later, started some practice on time.
Wow, no kidding. That's incredible.
He's now playing in the pros.
Well, why don't more people? I mean, wouldn't if everyone knew that, wouldn't they be like, yeah, do it? Let's do it.
You have to get to a surgeon that's comfortable doing
doing it right. Okay.
There's a few of those around the jail.
Yeah, you do absolutely. Well, you're a grizzly vet, is what you are, Dr. Stan. You're crafty. You're crafty.
Constantly working on
the game. And evolving, right? I mean, you talk about all the things that you're into, developing, and you know, whether it's artificial joints to help people, you know, just get through life a little bit better, help to perform. You're always on top of it. And I guess in your profession, you have to be.
Well, some people stay where they were trained. Some people keep working on the envelope.
That's right. Yeah, me too. I'm with you. Great to have you. Always a pleasure, my friend. Dr. Stan Longenecker from JOI, Jacksonville Orthopedic Institute, one of my great sponsors. It's an honor to represent such an iconic business right here at Jacksonville. I've known them for a very long time. They've helped me out many times with my injuries. I tell you what, they are the leaders in orthopedics. Check them out right there on the website. Click on their logo. It takes you right into joionline.net. You can also give them a call, 904-388-1400. And as you can tell from listening to Dr. Stan and all the great docs, Dr. Aaron Bates, Dr. Steve Augustine, just how renowned these surgeons and doctors are. Thanks for joining us here on the Tom McManus Webcast and right here at SuckItUpUSA.com. We'll see you next time.